Hello Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your tarot reading here at the Intuitive Teacup. We're going to talk about love, dating, romance, sex, anything that wants to come through about your romantic life. So please come into the reading with an open heart and an open mind, a desire to learn something or better yourself. If the messages that come through don't resonate for you, feel free to push them aside. You may want to revisit them at another time or date. Sometimes tarot messages make more sense in the future. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. This is optional advice, guidance, and energy check-in. Please do trust your own intuition above all else. And we're going to hop in to your tarot reading. One more card. All right, let's do it. Let's do it to it. All right, bottom of the dice. Bottom of the deck is the 9 of dice. All right, we're using Stranger Things Tarot. All right, so we definitely have an Aries coming in that wants to propose something to you, an Aries that may be asking you out. With the knight, you actually have two knights here. So you have, in this deck, the strands are, well, it doesn't matter. You have the Knight of, the Knight of Wands, and you have the Knight of Swords here. And then you have the Emperor, so a very strong card of Aries. But you have two knights here. And I'm wondering if you have two people making some sort of offering or proposal to you, and you kind of may be in this sweet position of kind of getting to have your cake and eat it too, or feeling like, if it's been kind of like a dry month or, a dry year or whatever, it's like all of a sudden you're in demand, you're wanted by people. For some of you, there's just a lot more social opportunities to go out with friends too, which I do really like seeing. I don't know, for some of you, I get a better vibe from maybe jiving with the fire sign more than the air sign. But that being said, try them on for size, see what presents itself. In the middle of the deck, I read this deck with scoops, the ice cream, right, as cups. Other people don't, but I'm just letting you know I kind of reverse some of them because it just makes more sense to me as a reader. So I see this as the 7 of Cups right in the middle of your spread. And so 7 of Cups is about options, right? Any 7 in tarot is about assessment, and here it's about an emotional assessment, like, who do I feel the best when I'm with, or, do I feel best when I'm with this person or with that person? And so that's sort of even feeding into this idea of having multiple options presenting themselves. I'm almost getting this idea of someone living their life in a very untraditional way. There might be something very untraditional about their home or their lifestyle or the type of relationship they seek. I don't know why I'm getting that from the Emperor, but just there's something very like untraditional, or there's a better word for it. Non-conformist, but yeah, non-traditional. I don't know. Let's see. And then you have the 7 of Swords, the 7 of Cups, and the 5 of Cups. All right. And so with that, I always encourage you to try not to make decisions, especially emotional ones, based on fear or the outcome of like what could be, especially regarding past narratives. I don't know, with the 7 of Swords to the 7 of Cups, I was sort of getting the idea that in the past you may have put your faith in someone or your trust in someone, and you felt like you got burned. And 5 of Cups, it's like you felt like something fell apart and that maybe you got your heart broken. So you may be very apprehensive to even consider some of these options, especially if you are going through a breakup or a breakthrough, as the case may be. I'm hearing breakthrough, but I actually think it's good that you're considering your options and asking yourselves the deeper questions. And quote unquote digging into sort of that treasure trove of of wisdom that you have based on what you've learned in past relationships. So you have the Lovers card here, which I really like, and Temperance and the Queen of Pentacles. So there could be a really strong connection with a Sagittarius or a Gemini, possibly. Those are the zodiac signs associated with those cards. And then Queen of Pentacles is typically like long-term, making a good solid offer. for a lot of you, I think there's a Sagittarius in your life that maybe you dated before that if you're no longer together, that could be sort of the Seven of Cups. It's like they were trying to keep their options open and didn't necessarily want to commit to you. They see you having new options or hooking up with other people. They're checking your social media and they're kind of taken aback. And I do feel like there's this feeling of like, oh man, I lost my opportunity with the Pisces. The thing is, if that's the case, a lot of you seem blown away by the newer option, in which case the person of your past, whether it's a Sagittarius or not, I don't think you are considering taking them back. And I know my Sag cross-watchers are going to be upset to hear that. But it doesn't mean you don't have a new Sag in your life. I'm talking about someone who you've already had a relationship and there was a falling out or a breakup or somebody just kind of iced you out or went dark on you, something like that. I don't know. Part of me thinks they might be strategizing to try and get back in your life, but honestly, I don't even think you're going to consider it. I think if they even reach out, you're just going to be like, nope, delete. Because I think you don't want it messing with like the good juju and like the nice karma of this new energy or this new thing that you're trying to manifest, right? Maybe you're just working on manifesting someone who is more in alignment with what you want and desire in relationships, but it's like that is so precious and so perfect. I see you putting it like a nice little energetic bubble around it so no one can penetrate it or nobody can touch it or mess with your vibe, your energy. That being said, there could be a very strong connection with a Sagittarius who comes in, but they may come in very, it's not really hot and heavy. I think that sort of exudes like the sexual energy. And I'm not saying that couldn't be part of it, but I mean, they're coming in with like these very big ideas and big expectations of what you guys are going to be. And it almost feels like, after 5 dates, they're like, I'm going to marry you. Like it's this very like profound, or maybe not profound, but it's this bold, big statement. And I think some of you are a little bit like, what? Like, I just met you. It's not that you don't like them. It's just they might be rushing the process or have these really big ideas for something that you're still kind of getting comfortable with the idea and thinking through what you want. So for some of you, that feels nice. It's nice to know that you're wanted and you have someone, you caught a good one in your net, right? But yeah, in terms of immediacy, I'm sort of getting you guys aren't on the same page fully, but it doesn't mean that it couldn't be something, over time. But your person's going to have to be more patient, and you may have to open up a little bit more to being willing to receive what the universe is throwing at you, right? Because of past relationships where things didn't work out, you may actually be a little bit guarded, or you may be a little bit, throwing the walls up or a little bit defensive because, you don't want to get your heart hurt or broke again. And I understand that. But with this, I think it's about slowly testing the waters out again. And, if you have to trust your intuition, Pisces, you're very psychic, you're very intuitive. I think you're going to know when it's the right person because there's going to be this ease and you're going to feel very safe. This is such a random message, but some of you are worried about your children and maybe like substance abuse issues. And there may be some sort of confrontation that you have with them or some sort of intervention to let them know that like you're there to support them, but like they're like something about changed behavior, or you might be worried about who they hang out with, who their friends are, where they're going. I see there being kind of like an awkward conversation, but necessary one with a child to intervene if you fear that something is wrong. And I don't do fear-based readings, but it, ultimately with this Nine of Swords energy, it's like your fears may be running rampant or running wild in terms of needing to know something and what's going on in the life of your child and feeling like they're not opening up to you, or I don't know if you think they're being suspicious or what. I think it's more harmless on their end. If it's almost like they don't know the dangers of what they could be getting into. So they do kind of need to hear it from their parent, even if they're going to roll their eyes and be like, oh, mom, oh, dad. I think it is necessary to have that conversation, just putting it out there. That's only for a few of you. Let's see. Yeah, I see jealousy from a fire sign. I guess it could be any sign. It might be an air sign. But yeah, someone who, it's like they lost their chance with you and they're watching someone else come in and take their place, especially in Aries. And Aries is coming through very strong in terms of a new possible dating prospect. And I kind of like it. An Aries who lives their life very untraditional, I'm almost getting sort of like Aquarian energy. So they may have like a moon in Aquarius or something like that. Yeah, it's just they cut their own path. They do things their own way or on their own terms, and they don't conform to regular ways of doing life. But I think there's something about that you find very intriguing, and I think they're a big sweetheart. They're like a big softie. They're like a big teddy bear. Even if they don't really, wear their heart on their sleeve that way, and like it doesn't necessarily show from the external. There could be something very specific about the way this person dresses too. It's almost like they have a little uniform or like a little go-to outfit that they wear a lot. I'm almost getting the idea of like a cartoon character where, if you ever go into like some cartoon show and you open up their wardrobe or their closet, it's like, 9 hangers with the exact same thing on it. I'm not saying it's that extreme, but there is something kind of quirky about like the way they dress or something they wear that you always notice or you take a liking to. I'm also getting something about a badge. So it could be that someone works, I don't know, in law enforcement, or I don't know, something to do with like, it could even be like a pin, like a funny saying that they wear on like a jean jacket or a leather jacket, like a little round pin, or something about a badge. I don't know if it's a badge from like childhood and like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, I don't know, something about that they may still wear. Those are just little confirmations for those who need to hear it. Yeah, I do feel like someone is opening up to you and allowing you to see sides of them that they would typically not share. It's like there's a more ease to be vulnerable and share things from their past and want to share a life with you. I don't know if this is for all of you, but some of you, it makes you a little bit uncomfortable because you're not used to people being so forward and open with you. It's almost like you're used to having to do the work to play detective and figure things out and kind of, get a pulse on them and, try and interpret what's going on emotionally. So when this person shares with you, you're almost taken aback, and it's not a bad thing by any means, but it's almost like there's an adjustment period for you to get comfortable, because it's almost like this interesting role reversal. If in the past, the people who have maybe dated you or broken up with you had said like, oh, you're too needy, you overshare, it's too much, you're emotionally overwhelming. It's almost like the opposite. It's like this person, you may write them off as like an oversharer, or they're so in touch with their emotions that you start, you can be very sponge-like, Pisces. You start taking on their energy and feeling those feelings for them. And yeah, it's almost like you kind of need to find a healthy way to come home at the end of the day and detach a little bit from it, or eventually, if you decide to move forward with this person, establish better boundaries so that you're not soaking in all the things and all the stuff that they're telling you, because it is affecting you in some way. But for some of you, it's affecting you in this way where it's like it's making your heart melt. It's like you're falling in love with this person, and it's almost like you're realizing it in real time. Like as it's happening, you're just like, oh my God, like I'm literally feeling this thing I didn't feel yesterday, and what is this? Part of you seems very suspicious to get involved in a relationship, but I don't think it's the people. I think you're just being presented with really nice people for a change, and you're almost like, wait a minute, is this a trick? But yeah, it's like the universe is trying to throw you a bone here, and yeah, I would say trust your own intuition, but don't be afraid to put yourself out there and get to know these people. And don't judge a book by its cover. I think that's very important too. Because looks can be deceiving, or something you may initially interpret about this person might actually be false. I think for a lot of you, it's going to work out better than you think. I'm also getting the idea of like struggling in a relationship where you do deeply like a person, but you feel like you're always taking a back seat to either their job, or for some of you, it's like their habits. Like I'm just getting the idea of like someone who smokes too much, or like smokes a lot of weed, or maybe drinks a lot, or I don't know, may have some drug of choice, or it could even be something silly like, they play video games all day, and like it's fun, and you can, do that with them for a bit, but eventually you're kind of like, okay, what else are we going to do? I'm sort of getting the idea of like laziness, or someone who's just kind of existing but doesn't really have any long-term goals. And so I think that is starting to wear thin, and you're kind of wanting to reach in and pull something more out of this person, and you're trying to get them to grow and explore with you in this relationship, and they just seem happy and content. So there may be it doesn't have to be an argument, but again, a confrontation about where are we, and, what are we planning on doing, and we're not doing anything. And like, I don't know, you kind of approaching them with this, like, are we or aren't we? I don't know if it's an ultimatum or kind of a gentle nudge of, hey, did you ever think about like applying to that job? And I think this person is just like, nah, I'm good. Like they're just very content where they are. And so you have to make a decision if you're comfortable with that, or to be honest, it feels like you can do better. A lot of you are like, I like this person, and there's part of them that I love, but there's a part of them that just isn't changing, and it's getting old, and if they can't change with you, then I do see you breaking it off with someone who potentially isn't meeting your needs and standards anymore. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. You've just simply outgrown them. You guys want different things and see different things in your future. That could be with a fellow water sign, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. It could also be with a Taurus, maybe, possibly a Leo. Those are just kind of some random signs that came through. But I see you going on lots of dates, especially in the winter months. So, especially for those of you who live in a climate where it gets cold or it snows, or that might be some sort of little vacation or retreat that you take together. You may go skiing or ice skating or something about the cold weather and all bundled up. I like that. I like that with your Aries. They'll keep you warm. All right, Pisces, that's what I see for you. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.